one rifle down on the side of Big Scythe right now. But it's too far. It's just too deep that they can't even
Oh.
find it at all. And Giver picks up the kill onto Malvai right there. Penmile trying to find whatever she can, but unfortunately, she's gonna get spotted out by Crescent from this A position.
I mean, just hark back to map control, right? We saw the wall being set up and it just blocks off so much. Meanwhile, so much presence on the A site that the only option could be B, and Margot is just prepared for this. The incendiary. Do you dare to walk through the fire and the flames, Pidgey? Clearly she doesn't as she swings back, finds Crescents, but Giver once more shuts that down. 4-1 in favor of Big Scythe.
I mean, there was a Eco Run coming out on the side of Fear Eater Sierra, and PG able to find 2 pickups, so it's, I think, pretty good in their favor right there. And they are gonna have, as the ultimate cycle comes online, most of the players here, they are gonna be 1 or 2 points away from the ultimates. PG has the null command at the ready to be able to kind of execute onto the side, right? And Malvai as well, 1 away from that Rolling Thunder.
There is that potential, but still, you're gonna have to pick it up before you actually send out that Rolling Thunder. And if we take a look at the mini-map, so much control being gained by Big Scythe just because they refuse to sit still. They call the hit coming towards B, and now they set up for that big old flank. It's absolutely crucial that FTR takes control of the side, and they just did. Finding those 2 picks gives them a lot more space and control.
Yeah, I think FTR, they really recognize the push and pull of them, but this time around, Margot trying to go in aggressive once again, gonna get stunned up by that relay ball to kind of slow her advancement towards tower. And it's X2F who picks up that kill. Crescent's ready with this fault line, but his family finds out the kill onto Aphrodite. It's X2F who cleans up the round onto Crescents as well. So overall, pretty well played round from FTR, right? They really read the situation. They recognized that Margot and Crescents were pushing out of dish, and that just means that there's less players that are gonna be towards this B side. So if we go for this,
Absolutely.
this kind of we kind of collapse in on the players on the B side, we are able to isolate them and win out those gunfights.
You're 100% correct, and at this uh-oh.
This will be just isolated on the side, and that's just exactly what happened to Giver right there. So yeah.
So we might be experiencing some technical issues for a second, but I think again we start to see a lot of aggressive plays coming in from Fear Eater Sierra, and when they are actually able to pull off the right plays, it works out so well. Their post plants on this map are actually quite effective. That said, though, Big Scythe, just because they're so much different, there are so many different options on this map to explore. Big Scythe will turn things around. 5-2, and this is still early days for both sides.
Trap destroyed.
Well, just coming back in, a little bit of delay, a little bit of lag, but still we can see that Big Scythe are holding it down quite effectively.
Yeah, that's true, but the Rolling Thunder is gonna be coming through for the side of both teams actually, as the counter Rolling Thunder trying to delay this advancements towards the side as well.
And sandwich onto the site, or at least Crescents was for a second, but now pushing up front again. we have the bird's eye view. It kind of shows us how Big Scythe were able to deny all that much space and down to the end, Fear Eater Sierra with all the ultimates playing post plant, they were able to prevent prevent the defuse from coming through. So 5-3 now, and Fear Eater Sierra are starting to climb back into the game.
Yeah, that is true, but I mean, that was quite a bit of ultimates invested on your side as well. I do believe we did see the Tour de Force and the Rolling Thunder kind of come into play.
It's a really useful tool, especially for hitting sites, to say the least. But that said, it just kind of shows that both sides are still evenly matched when it comes down to this this map, and at the same time, I'm kind of expecting to see a little bit more from Aferlin with Sage. The slow orb is just one thing, but the wall is something that you can get a lot more creative with, and so far we haven't really seen that happening. A lot of wall bangs, and again, it's just the site given up to Fear Eater Sierra. Once more, though, unfortunately, we're suffering some technical issues. Still going.
Yeah, but it is Fear Eater Sierra who are going to be picking up that round, so I mean, that's pretty good in their favor. And I think so far, I mean, Aphrodite, even though her walls, maybe her utility usage hasn't been like the best so far, but I do believe that in terms of her fragging ability, she's been so strong. From a glimpse that I saw previously, I think she was going 13-3. So the impact that she has from those kills itself and able to get her team herself those frags is just so important for the team.
For sure. And I think at the same time, Fury Eater Sierra, it's such a, a big swap, perhaps. X2F earlier on was playing Killjoy, and this time around, she swapped to the far end of the spectrum of the agent pool, and that's playing the duelist role. As a Neon, she's been able to create a lot of space for a team, and that's what we need to see more of. Been working out so far, and if they can keep up this pace, we might actually see the tables turn around, because Big Scythe right now are a little bit more, how do I put this delicately, a little bit more conservative in how they approach the game. They're actually holding back a lot more as opposed to what we saw from before in the opening rounds when they went for a lot of these heads-up duels.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think it was after that one round where I believe it was Margot and Crescent's pushed out from Dish, and that just kind of gave FTR the B site. That was when they realized, oh, maybe we shouldn't be doing this every single round, and maybe we have to kind of mix up our game plan here coming into the next few rounds. But so far, it hasn't really been working out in their favor. I do think that they might need to stick with those that gaining that opening the initial information and playing off of that. Maybe not over aggressing this time around, but more of trying to get information, trying to figure out where these plays are gonna be, and just try and adapt to their playstyle.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's how the tactical cycle of Valorant kind of follows. You kind of want to get a little bit of information and find ways to work around that. I think the game's still going on, but we are having some issues with the stream for now, so bear with us. That said, though, I mean, apart from the game, I think we can kind of talk about how kind of went to L streak, unlike their name somehow. But at the same time, I mean, Grammys, you're here. You came from the academy side. Yeah, what's it like, you know, coming in from the tutelage of Black and Blue, and then now here?
I mean, he's been a great mentor so far. I mean, it's okay. Honestly, it's been insane because I have, before all of this, I've only ever casted twice, and it's just been like cast after cast after cast after cast. So it's just yeah, it's been really so intense, but it's been so fun as well. And I mean, academy is pretty different from the main stage here, because Academy most of the time they are gonna be like individual signups, right? So we don't have a lot of information of on the players
That is
except for
insane.
those who are like recurring, that you recognize, oh, these are players that came from before and we are seeing them again. So we kind of know a few of these players now, but yeah, it's I think
I mean, the casting lessons, how
it's
does that go?
yeah. I mean, it's been fun. I've learned so much from like everyone and everywhere. So yeah,
Shout outs
to Black and Blue. Shout out to my classmates, Zach, Matt Datum, and Honey Glaze.
Oh yeah. I mean, Honey Glaze. Oh my God, actually doing a really good job. And of
Yeah.
course, yeah, Datum, Zach. I mean, even yourself. There's so much progress, and I think this says a lot about game changers, especially with VCT as well, because there's so much support coming into the scene. We actually have teams graduating from academy and then over into the actual main game changers APAC series as well, and it's just very lovely to see a lot of support for a lot of talents who are still being developed, such as yourself right now. So thankfully issues are fixed and we're back into the game right now.
Oh, this looks
6
oddly
to 4 is the
familiar.
score.
Hi,
Yeah.
Sage.
Hi, Sage.
I mean, looking at the 6 to 4 scoreline, to be fair, is pretty good for coming in for FDR, especially on the attacking half, where I think they would set this pace of the game, right? And so I guess it just kind of really comes down to how these teams are gonna be able to play, but it is gonna be a full buy round for both teams this time around. But Penny X has the half shields though.
That said, interestingly enough, if you take a look at what's happening on the mini-map, a big
Spike
firefight
down,
happening
B.
towards bench, but oh my god, X2F, 2 quick headshots back to back, and this just might have broken up the B site for FTR. They might just be able to push on through, but at the same time, Big Scythe, they're kind of just hiding, lying in wait inside of some of these sky smokes.
One enemy remaining.
Definitely right here, but it's Krezus who picks up 2 kills onto X2F and Pet Melee right there. So Peachy's trying to go in aggressive, but unfortunately he's gonna get stunned up by that fall line to stall her a little bit. The spike is not in her control as well. This is looking like a repeat from one of the previous rounds, and it's Margot who finds a headshot kill onto Peachy right there to clean up the round.
And just like that, Big Scythe earned that 7th win, which pretty much gives them a solid lead as they move forward into the second half. This, at the very least, go 7-5. At most, they could go 8-4. And once more, it tells us so much about how prepared Big Scythe are for this map.
Yeah, definitely. They've had so much experience playing this map, right? And I guess as well with experimenting with different team compositions, this is kind of the one they have picked up for today. But it is gonna be the fall line coming out to kind of stall Penny X's. I believe it was Giver's peak from this main position, so she's gonna have to rendezvous back towards safety.
I mean, an instant fast lane down, and all of a sudden FTR, who have been slamming down the B site several times already, they're not doing it anymore. In fact, they've pushed in to gain control over A main, but if you take a look at how Big Scythe are positioned, they're just waiting for them to walk forward. Crescent, earlier before, she was hiding inside the sky smokes. This time around, she's just perched up on top of tower, and she's able to find 2 quick frags. The res coming in from Efrelin now, and that's, again, big numbers advantage for Big Scythe.
I mean, definitely right now 3v5 situation, and Spike once again not in the control of FTR as Margot trying to go aggressive here. I don't think that she really knows where the positions of these players are, but this fault line is gonna stall them even more so as Margot going so aggressive, hiding in the sky smoke right here. I think X2F kind of recognizes this and has to respect this. able to capitalize off of that as Penny X picks up a Q with that Headhunter headshot onto Avril as well, evens out the numbers. This is really in the favor of FTR right now. Penny is still waiting from position in drop, has the opportunity strike at the ready as well. So if they do get the spike down,
She's lurking.
she's just kind of she's able to use that to her favor. But Crescents has the Rolling Thunder at the ready, trying to delay this plant from going down.
Oh, 5
and-
seconds.
Oh, this is so close
Oh
for
no.
both teams, but unfortunately for them, unfortunately for the side of FTR, they are going to be able to get that spike down.
And now it's all up to Giver. She's got the tour de force. How crisp can her aim be at these final moments? 3 players, 3 different positions, and she spots out the first. Slowly creeps up front now. But it's a tough position to look out for because it's a bit of a crossfire, and Penny X just lines up the crosshair perfectly to take her down as she walks straight into it. What a play coming in from FTR, especially with the Brimstone and the Orbital Strike just waiting for the perfect moment, even with the Rolling Thunder to deny that spike plant.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Orbital Strike just came in at the right time to stall the 2 players on the side of Big Scythe from coming in to support the Neon right there. So I think that was kind of what won them the round because Neon slid in, no backup, and just like that, she was able to FTR were just able to take her down, which means that it was just a tough situation for Big
Yeah.
Scythe from the get-go.
You can kind of see it happening both ways, right? Because this is how Big Scythe tends to play. They kind of had the advantage really early on, and they maybe got a little bit overconfident, hubris perhaps. They started to go out hunting a little bit because the spike was dropped, and they walked straight into players like Penny X as well as X2F. And once things like that happened, they were able to swarm down the site. They were able to try to get the spike planted. Of course, Big Scythe had perfect idea for it too, with Crescents and the Rolling Thunder. But more often than not, when you do send a Rolling Thunder, your initial instinct is to just follow it through. Like, you have to go in along with the timing of that to be able to secure kills or to just prevent them from getting the spike planted even after getting knocked out. Because, of course, like we saw, Penny X could still actually get that spike planted. What they did not expect, what they had zero clue about, zero information, was Pan Melee just hiding all the way up on drop for the longest time ever. If Pan Melee made a single mistake, a single sound, things could have been really different.
Yeah, that is true, and that is just kind of what won them the round right there with that auto strike as well. I think the timing of all that utility was just so really, really insane to watch right there. That the Rolling Thunder coming through, and then Padmile, upon recognizing this Rolling Thunder, okay, these players are gonna be pushing on towards the side. That means I have to time my orbital strike right here, right now, to be able to either cause as much damage as possible or try to stall the players of Big Scythe from coming in.
Yeah, it's just, again, incredible utility usage and incredible plays and reads coming in from FTR, especially towards those final moments. However, once again, this is Big Scythe with the lead, 2-round difference. And if they can secure the pistol, this might still be a really precarious position for FTR to be in. This is Big Scythe's map pick, and now they are on the attacking side, a side which they might actually look a little bit more comfortable on. And along with the Stim Beacon now, we're about to go Stim E-Turner as they rush down into the A site. Not a single player to be able to defend. And just like that, spike planted.
Yeah, the spike plant is gonna go down. That's 300 credits in the bag for Big Scythe right there. They do have the numbers advantage as well coming into this post-plant situation, so it really comes down to how much value FDR can find out of weaponry right here. But unfortunately for Fanny X, it's not gonna be much because Giver is gonna be taking her out with that hit hunter right there. Yamori picks up the kill with the frenzy onto XOF as well, and as the straights come in, it is gonna be a 1v2 situation here for Malvi, but unfortunately for her, Margot is gonna be getting the better of that situation. So once again, pistol round going the way of Big Scythe.
I mean, yeah, what a round and what a way to win it. The Stim Beacon and just every single player on the team on the same page, rushing down into the site. Panmele had no idea what hit her, and she was the only one who could have possibly stalled down the approach on the A site. At the same time, I really want to point out, I think this is why we see Aphrodite on the Sage. This one wall actually gives them so much cover as they approach on forward, because you need to shoot down those panels before you're actually able to gain more vision. Right now, though, oh god, X2F just running it down. Unfortunately, gets taken out by Crescents, and this does not look good for FTR right now, if I'm being honest, Grammy.
Yeah, definitely, because they
Oh,
are just
God.
get run down by the respective running gun right there. And it's all up to Penny X. Still has 6 bullets in the chamber of that hit hunter of hers, though. So it really comes down to how much damage once again she can do right here. But the spike is gonna be planted on this A site.
One player, several rounds with a headhunter, but I just don't think she can quite do all that much. Look at that triple peek along with the flashpoint from Crescents. Big Scythe are in sync. They are here to play, and 9-5. How could this full buy round go for FTR? Like, what do they need to do in order to hold off Big Scythe and their insane rushes right now?
I mean, once again, it's just this death ball that's been rolling for Big Scythe on the attacking half on Ascent as well. We did see a couple of rounds of that coming through, but I think this time around, FDR, they really have to be able to find those crucial picks that will just delay this push from coming through, especially maybe like a Neon who's able to rush onto the site, or maybe the Breach who's able to kind of stall you from the your movement and stuff like that. But it is Penny X who's gonna be finding that initial pick. The backup coming in from Avrolin, though, able to find Peachy.
But yeah, again, like, this is what I'm talking about. This wall just blocks off so much, and FTR having a tough time trying to break through. Give her playing close range as well. The Spectre did quite a bit as X2F tried to find some kind of an opener. Right now, just walking on through the fast lane, everything blocking so much vision. FTR might have made their way onto the site, but will they actually be able to hold off Big Scythe as they try to push down through? They've got positions over by Tower. They've got positions over by the generator, but here comes the tap from X2F. In fact, she's just trying to bait out the peaks. They're pushing up front. They're able to take her down. Movi, she can't do all that much on her own, and with Big Scythe surrounding all of them, they take the 10th win, and also the bonus round, Grammy. 10-5 right now, and again, economy in shambles for Fear Eater Sierra.
Yeah, that was a really crucial round for Fury Sierra right there to win. And I think on the side of Big Scythe, they really played that so well. They used that fast lane to get in close range to the players of Fury Sierra, right? That means the Spectres were gonna be just super effective against the players of Fury Sierra right there, because with the Spectre, you want to be playing those close range gunfights right there. But speaking of close range, it is gonna be a longer sideline coming out from this A main position is gonna give away some information. Peachy's 0 point scanning out 2 players on the side of Big Side, but the spike is gonna be going towards this B side where they are gonna be getting this spike down though, and Penny X falls to Margot as well. That's a side given completely for free, but Yomori still trying to cause chaos on the A side. Finds one for her troubles, but Peachy with that Bucky able to take her out.
A little bit of chaos, and one Vandal donated over onto FDR's side. They're still trying to go in with this retake though, but again, take a look at this wall. I have to compliment it so much. Aphrodite, the perfect placement of it just blocks off so much, because all of a sudden, the one clear route for FTR to rotate through defender spawn, they just can't walk through it, which means they have to go through this one spot by Canteen, and it's very telegraphed. They knew she's coming from this spot, but what? Give her! She whiffed! Unfortunately, though, just bought enough time, and even with that frag, Big Scythe claims the 11th win.
Okay, honestly, I have to really give credit to X2F, right? That those initial 2 Marshall headshots were just insane enough, but the third one, she wasn't even looking at Giver, right? She was
Turned around 180.
Turned around and was like, oh, there you are. And that was just so insane. And right now, this coming round, she is gonna have that overdrive available for her to use, but it is gonna be 11 rounds in the bag already for Big Scythe. So one more round to the match point, just one
And
step closer to closing out the series
not
as well.
it's not just any round either, Grammy. Take a look at the economy on the side of the FDR players. If they don't make this one work, if they don't make use of their ultimates, their economy is going to be absolutely smashed to bits, broken for match point, and you just don't want to have that happen. Which is why they're playing really conservatively right now. I love that Pishy's pushing out as well, though. She's able to find 2 heads, maybe not a frag yet, but this is information enough for FTR.
Yeah, this is just like FDR taking a page out of Big Scythe's
What?
book, right? But unfortunately,
Yamori!
he's just able to find that pickup onto Peachy right there.
From the
so
ropes.
she's gonna be evening out the numbers for her team right now, as the spike is gonna be making its way
Oh,
back
no.
towards the A side. Margot going to try and go in for
Oh no.
this jump peak right here. And
So
it's
this is
just-
the thing. With that one frag from the zipline, how do you possibly read the game state if you were X2F right now? Yes, she's got the overdrive, but can she make use of it? She pops the high gear, but no! Just a little bit of movement, and unfortunately Afternoon was right underneath her nose. A bit of a res as well, and now they've got everything going right for them. FTR forced all the way back. How do they retake this, Grammy?
Once again, it's this wall that you mentioned coming into play. This retake is gonna be so hard for them, especially with this crossfire coming through from Dish and Amy. But the Rolling Thunder is gonna be coming through from the side of FTR, knocking out a few players. Margot is not gonna get stunned though, but Incendiary is gonna deal some damage to her, but she finds one for her troubles anyway right there. So it's 2v2 situation right now. Still unsure of where these players are, and Yamori would find a pickup onto Penny Eggs. Malvai with the trade, but Yamori fires back, bringing Big Scythe to their match point.
Positioning along with that wall, an artificial corner, not to mention Yamori, the secondary target right behind that thing, just made it all that much more difficult for that 2v2 scenario to be winnable for FTR even. And here we are, match point 12-5. Such a steep climb. Even with X2F saving her ultimate for this specific scenario, I don't know how they can claw all their way back from this. It's such a tall task ahead of them, but they have to try.
They really do have to try, and immediately X2F with this overdrive coming online already, trying to go aggressive with this immediate flank. But I think the side of Big Scythe, they recognize this, and Margot immediately takes X2F down, but not before she hits one health of her own. Yumori trying to go in aggressive to a CT, but unfortunately for her, Malvai and Penny X with the trades coming back up. Evens out the numbers once again. Nalcom gonna be popped by Peachy right there as they play this retake coming in from the CT side and arcade as well.
And even then, though, a little bit of space, but once more that wall just blocks off so much. But thankfully, this time around, FTR approaching from all different sides, a little bit over by bench, and all that's left is going to be Giver. A little bit of a fault line, and she's forced back for a second as well, but here comes the push. She goes in for the first trade, but no! Malvai! The second headshot just saves elimination away from FTR. We go into another round, and it's 12-6. 6 more rounds to go into overtime.
I mean, this was a really well played from both teams, but I mean, the economy, I think, is still not looking too good for the side of FTR, so they have to really be careful right here. They have to be able to not give too much away in terms of the numbers here, especially with Peachy picking up this judge. Just whatever she can find with this close range weapon right here. But it seems like Big Scythe, they really want to close this out as they're approaching from both sides towards this A position. Giver has the tour de force in hand as well.
If we take a look at the mini-map and how FTR are actually positioned, Grammy, they're hiding all the way behind. There's not a single person contesting for A main or the site itself. It's a bit of a retake scenario, and I'm not loving how this position might go. The fast lane can come through, the sky smokes as well, and it's easy for Big Scythe to take control over this site. The spike will be planted pretty soon. And again, a full 5-on-5 retake with not the best weaponry available for FTR. It's not looking too good. A bit of an orbital strike as well, though, and they just, by couple of seconds. Spike planted, and now we're reset to 40 seconds. How do you retake this? How?
This is so difficult coming out of them, but X2F is trying to make it work. Picks up the first pick onto Margot already. Yamori trying to go in with this trade. 10 health to a name as well. Really both comes out to stall a little bit of time, and as the trades come through, it is gonna be even out in terms of numbers, but X2F is really low on health. 21 health to a name. Gets picked off by Crescent and Peachy. 1v1 situation here. Trying to go in aggressive. Dinks the hit of Afrolin. Has to go in. Got his fuse. Oh. This is so close. But unfortunately, just not enough time for Peachy right there. Time was just not in the favor of Peachy. And Big Scythe will be taking the second map and that series as well.
2-0 at the end of the whole thing, and once again Big Scythe just show how much they've rehearsed, how much they've practiced on this map itself. We see how Efrelin sets up those walls, and in every single push it's just so perfect. It blocks off so much, and unfortunately towards the end, even though FTR were starting to adapt around it, they just weren't quite able to get that spike defuse. I mean, the frag was perfect as well, but unfortunately just not enough time. I mean, if you break down how that round went, the wall has been something that they've been using like for several rounds now, and I think FTR started to expect it. That's why we saw them push through door instead. They might have tried to chip down the wall a little bit, but they weren't committing from that approach. They weren't committing from that front. Instead, A main was the focus point. That said, though, Yamori was able to hold them off for a second or two. And not to mention, when it came down to it, they just did not have enough time. And unfortunately, that's how this cookie crumbles.
Yeah, definitely. Yamori able to holding them off, just buying a fraction of time was so important for her team right there. And we are going to be heading into the match stats right now. So I think, who do you think this time around is going to be match MVP?
That's Efrelin. I mean, before it even comes up, I mean, you kind of have to think about it. I mean, X2F for sure. She had the highest numbers out of anyone on the scoreboard. But for me, MVP has to be Efrelin, just because of those sage wall placements, just because she was able to anchor down a lot of sites on the defensive rounds as well.
Yeah, that is true, but I think we can't really count out X2F, right? She's been doing so much for her team, trying to get so much space as well by trying to go into close quarters to create that space for her team. And I guess just unfortunately for them, it was working out well on their attacking half, I believe. But unfortunately for them, once they got onto defense, Big Scythe, they were just setting the pace every single round that FTR they weren't able to keep up, especially with the sage walls throwing off the timing as well, because you have to chip down those individual blocks to be able to get back onto the site, right? And it's so difficult for them.
For sure, but I completely agree with you. X2F, I think she was one of the sole reasons why FTR were actually able to find that many rounds on their attacking half. FTR were able to get a 7-5 because of X2F. So many rounds with the fast lanes, the high gear as she slides onto site. That was one of the ways that FTR was actually able to counter Efrelin and maybe even Crescent's approach to anchoring down sites. That said, though, 7-5 is the most that they could get, and towards the end of it, Efrelin is the one who gets that MVP crown, because she truly did so much once Big Scythe swapped over onto the second half. Every single round, we talked about it. Those walls, Sage actually is a pretty strong pick on excuse me, I almost said Ascent. It's a pretty strong pick on Fracture if you know how to make it work, and Efrelin clearly does.
Yeah, that is true, and just like that, she will be picking up the whole team. Big Scythe, in fact, will be picking up this series, so they will be heading into the lower bracket semifinals. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
You're right.
yeah, we're gonna be seeing them pretty soon. I think tomorrow, I believe.
Yes, we are, and that's gonna be against either L-Streaks or Zol Meraki. I believe that game is still ongoing right now. It's on the mainstream. People can check that out if they want to. But that said, unfortunately, really sad. We got to sing Auld Lang Syne and send Fear Eater Sierra out of the tournament. They've been knocked out by Big Scythe. However, I mean, there's so much to talk about, right, Grammy? Like, we talked about X2F. She has such insane fragging potential, whether she's on Killjoy or she's on Neon. She can do everything. And not to mention Pan Melee in some of those rounds as well. We saw with the Orbital Strike. The entire team and so many of these girls have so much potential, which is why you're going to want to keep an eye out for the VCT Game Changers APAC, that's a mouthful, last chance qualifier, because some of these teams will still be able to qualify for VCT Game Changers APAC Elite from the last chance qualifier. Yeah, and that's like happening, sometime in August.